Mr. Estribor, before I forget, Mr. Estribor, are you with us? Mr. Estribor? Hello, Mr. Estribor?
Ma'am, bakit po?
You don't have any plan to complete your simulations?
Ma'am, dalawa lang. Tapos na po yung nag-appear sa akin na simulation, ma'am.
Ano yung tapos na nag-appear?
Yung...
Kasi
yung
when I check your simulations, wala pang simulation number 10 and I told you to do another attempt, di ba?
ma'am, tapos na yung 10, ma'am. Ano po ba yung 10? Yung ano, di ba, ma'am? Yung sa atomic.
Isinama mo yung pang midterm eh. Periodic table yung iba,
Ma'am,
di
wala
ba?
na po ang pending na ano, simulation.
When did you complete it? Kailan mo kinumpleto?
Nung prelims pa po.
But are you sure?
Yes po.
Kasi pag chine-check ko may kulang, atomic structure, wala.
Ma'am, tapos po lahat. Wala pong nakalagay sa akin na pending, ma'am.
Tapos I told you to do another attempt. Hindi ka ba nag-second attempt?
Ay, hindi po, ma'am.
I told you to do a second attempt kasi ang bababa ng scores mo, if I may say. Kaya nga, I told you to do another attempt. I will compute as is. If I'm going to compute as is, baka bumagsak ka. Because you also have a low score sa exam. That's why I told you to do another attempt.
Check ko po, ma'am.
Pag kinompute ko as is ito, hindi ko na mababago. That will be your prelim grade already. That's why I'm giving you a chance to do another attempt. I've been telling you that. You did not comply. Sinama mo kasi yung ano eh, periodic table eh, pang midterm yun, di ba? Natapos mo lahat yung 1 to 4 for midterm. Pero yung prelim, hindi mo patapos. In which case, dapat makumpleto lahat ang inyong backlogs bago mag-midterm exam. Kasi pag kinumpute ko na ito, hindi na siya mababago. Okay? Tingnan ko ha. Check ko lang saglit.
Ma'am, wala pong nag-appear sa akin na pending.
Walang nag-a-appear kasi may attempt ka, pero ang baba ng score. Okay, check ko ha.
Hindi, ma'am, yung kulang ko po, sabi niyo po may kulang ako. Wala pong kulang sa akin, ma'am. Tapos
Okay,
na po
check
lahat.
ko.
Completed na po.
Completed nga, pero 10 over 120 ang atomic structure. Assess the possibility of life in other planets. Gusto mo 10 over 120 ang ilagay kong score? Mr. Estribor?
10, ma'am? Wala pong 10 over 120.
10 over 120 ang atomic structure mo. That is your first attempt. That's why I told you to do another attempt. Kasi one attempt lang ito, oh. 10 over 120, wala kang pending, ang baba naman.
Ma'am, yung atomic structure, ma'am, 86 po score po.
Assess the possibility of life in other planets. Tama ba?
Opo.
Bakit dito 10 over 120?
Hindi
Ano nakalagay dito sa dashboard ko? Isang attempt lang ang ginawa mo. Isang attempt lang ginawa mo dito.
Opo ma'am, isa lang po. Pero hindi po 10 yung score ko. 86 po.
Bakit dito 10 ang nag-a-appear? I-screenshot mo nga yung sa'yo. Please take a screenshot. Sinend mo ba sa GC yun? Screenshot mo together with your name. Tignan ko. Bakit ganito ang naka-record dito sa dashboard ko? Sa Lobster. Okay, screenshot mo tapos send mo sa akin. Together with your name, ha? Tapos, if talagang ito
Ma'am,
na...
black daw po yung account ko.
Ha?
Black.
Bakit black?
Hindi ko po alam ma'am.
Saan mo nakita yung completed na nakalagay kung black?
Ma'am, yun po yung huli kong check kasi nag-check po ako kagabi ma'am. Wala pong, nag-check po ako ng Lobster ma'am, wala pong bagsak. Kaya po,
Walang
hindi ko
bagsak?
na po. Opo,
What do you mean
wala
walang
pong
bagsak?
Wala pong 10/120 ma'am. 86 po talaga yung nakita ko ma'am.
Did you send
Kasi
it?
ma'am, tinatry ko i-open ma'am. Black daw po yung Lobster ko, yung account ko ma'am.
Bakit na black?
Ay, hindi ko po alam ma'am.
Ay, kung black yung account mo, di ka na makakapag-Lobster. I was able to access your account dito sa simulations 1 to 4. Kaya nga na-record ko dito. Oh. Kompleto mo na yung 1 to 4 ng midterm. So, paano mo sasabihin may score kang 86, 10 itong nakalagay dito sa dashboard ko. Sana if you have the proof na nakunan mo and then sinend mo sa GC natin. 'Di ba sabi ko, every time you are done with your simulation, mag-send sa GC ng score. Because something may happen like this one. Ang score mo sa first simulation, that is chemistry safety, is 82/130. Baka yun yung sinasabi mo. Tapos matter and phase changes, 98/120. Pero yung atomic structure, nakalagay dito, 10/120. I told you to do another attempt. Sinasabi ko pa sa iyo, ever since na-access ko tong mga scores mo. But you did not do another attempt. Are you sending your scores sa GC?
Hindi ma'am, black po yung account ko ma'am.
Bakit ka na-black? Anong nangyari?
Hindi ko alam ma'am.
Saan ka ba nag-access ng simulation?
Sa laptop ko.
Hindi, ibig ko sabihin, doon sa BS account, di ba sa BS sabi ko doon kayo mag-open?
Opo, sa BS po.
Saan ka
Tinry ko na rin po yung sa Gmail ma'am. Black daw po talaga.
Okay, mag-email ka sa OLTD. Sabihin mo block yung account mo sa
Ay
block
po.
yung account mo sa Lobster.
Sige po.
Then, itong wala kang proof na 86/120 ang mo, atomic structure mo. Sana kung nagpadala ka ng score sa GC natin, pwede kong balikan.
Okay po. Sige po ma'am.
So I'm going to compute as is already.
So, pag na-open po yung Lobster ko ma'am, tatry ko po i-attempt yung 10 na yun ma'am. Ay, i-attempt ko po pala talaga.
Magmi-midterm na. Pag hindi mo pa in next week, pag hindi pa naayos to, I'm going to compute as is yung laboratory mo.
Okay po ma'am, noted po. Thank you po.
I've been telling you that. Parang hindi mo ginagawa, you are not complying. Yes, Mr. Coronel.
Ma'am, sorry po, ngayon lang po nakabalik po. Naka-mobile data po kasi ako.
You were late.
Yes po. Pero sasagot po ako ma'am pagka-uwi ko po sagot po ako yung dalawang simulation.
Katunina, are you in already? Hindi pa tayo magsasimulate ha, magle-lecture pa tayo.
Opo ma'am.
Katunina, are you in? Arion, are you in? Nicasio,
Yes po, ma'am, andito po.
nakapag-take ka ba ng seat work? Number 2? Ha? Were you able to take the seat work? Ah, okay. How about Monte Alegre? Nakapag-seat work ka ba last meeting?
Opo, ma'am.
How about Montemayor? Montemayor?
Ma'am, present po ma'am.
Hindi, nakapag-take ka ba ng seat work last meeting? Seat work number 2?
Hindi po
Hindi.
ma'am.
Ma'am, Korean po. Nakapag-take po ako. Chinek ko lang po. Kaya natagalan.
Sebastian, nakapag-take ka ba ng seat work? Number 2? Sebastian? Dito siya eh. Oh, nag-attendance. Sale, are you in? Wong? Mr. Wong? Mr. Wong, please respond. Andito ba kayo sa meet? Or nagpa-attendance lang kayo? Hello? Mr. Oxenia, paki-check nga kung nag-leave si Mr. Wong.
Okay po, wait lang po.
Okay, there are a lot of you who are not able to take the seat work last meeting.
Ma'am, wala po si Wong.
Nag-leave. Pero nandito siya kanina, may attendance siya. Questionable.
Ano po ba full name niya, ma'am?
Wong Mark Bryan.
Wala talaga siya sa meet, ma'am. Hindi ko alam, baka na-DC lang po siya o nag-leave po.
Ayun, ang di natin alam eh. Mhm.
Ma'am, yung Doringo po nasa, attendance po ngayon.
Yes.
Ayun. Okay po, ma'am. Salamat po.
Ma'am, yung Villa Pando, ma'am.
Yes.
Sa attendance
Ganito
po.
ganito. Those who missed seat works. The seat works is 40% of the class standing. Okay? So make sure to attend your classes regularly. Kasi if your reason is not justifiable, I will not be giving any special seat works anymore. Do you understand?
Yes po, ma'am.
Mag-attend kayo ng klase, please. Ang hirap maghabol. Ako ang naghahabol sa inyo hindi kayo naghahabol sa akin You are the one making your grades. Ako taga-sulat lang. So please, kung gusto nyong pumasa, tulungan nyo sarili nyo. Have you seen your grades sa portal already? Sa Ames portal?
Yes po, ma'am.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. So make sure that those who have failing grades, make sure to make up this midterm. If not, mahirapan na kayo sa finals. Okay, let's continue. I will be giving special seat works. Yung mga nakamiss ng seat works. Maybe Monday in the afternoon Pwede ba kayo sa Monday 6 p.m.? Monday 6 p.m. May schedule ba kayo? Paki-off mo muna yung mic mo, Mr. Das.
Sorry po, ma'am.
Pwede ba kayo ng 6 p.m. on Monday? Yung mga walang seatworks like Montemayor, Sebastian, Wong. We have also here Feria. Si Feria ba ay lecture lang? Okay? Kasi sayang ito eh. 55 points na ito pag nakamiss ka ng dalawa. 25 plus 30. Okay? May klase ba kayo ng ng 6 p.m.?
Monday, ma'am.
Yes?
Parang wala na po yata, ma'am.
Wala na? Okay. Class reps, paki-remind nga ang mga ito to take the special seatworks on Monday. Feria, okay? Ano na lang sa GC natin, class reps, Mr. Aquino and Mr. Oxenia. We have here Feria, Montemayor, Sebastian, Oypala. Si Oypala hindi naman na nag-a-attend, ano? And Wong. Okay? Okay, 6 p.m. Okay, wala na. Wala na kayong klase, 6 p.m. onwards. So, pwede, ha? Na lang, Mr. Class Representatives natin. Paki-remind sila. Nakuha nyo yung names? Mr. Oxenia?
Ay, ma'am. Sorry po, nagdalag po kayo sa akin, ma'am. Nadi-disconnect po ako, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Aquino, were you able to take down? Mr. Aquino, yung mga class reps natin. Okay, Mr. Sebastian, nandito ka?
Dito po, ma'am.
O sige, ni-note down mo ba yung mga names na binigay ko? Kasama ka doon?
Hindi ko po nalista lahat, ma'am, pero kasama po ako doon.
Okay, paki-note down mo nga iho, tapos paki-ano mo sa GC natin.
ba?
Feria. Okay,
Wait po, ma'am.
Montemayor.
Wait lang po. Ulit po, ma'am.
Feria, Montemayor, Sebastian, and Wong. 6
Okay.
p.m. Monday. So, last chance na yun ha, para mag-take ng question.
Ma'am,
Yes.
Pwede po ba ngayon na ako mag-take ng quiz? Ay, ng seatwork?
Bakit? May lecture tayo eh. May lecture tayo. And you have to attend this lecture kasi pag hindi ka nag-attend ng lecture ngayon at nag-sit work ka, mahirapan ka sa next lesson. 6 p.m.
Ma'am,
Yes.
permission to look po. Ayusin ko lang po yung lobster.
Ano na?
Permission to leave po. Ayusin ko lang po yung sa lobster, ma'am.
Bakit? I mean to say, nag-email ka na ba sa OLTD?
Hindi pa po, ma'am. Kaso naglalag po yung laptop, ma'am.
You have to attend first the lecture. Later mo na ayusin, ha?
Okay po.
Attend ka sa lecture.
Ma'am, just to make sure lang po yung mga walang seatwork, yung hindi po nakapag-seatwork. 4 po yun, di ba? Si Peria, Montemayor, Sebastian, at Wong.
Yes.
Okay po, ma'am.
Thank you. So, we are still on. Uumpisan pa lang natin yung chemical calculations. We have barely 2 weeks na lang, class, bago mag-midterm exam. Okay, would you mind opening your cameras while we are having our discussion? So, this the slides that are involved here in calculations based on chemical formula is still under chemical formula title, huh? Okay, so we start with the mole concept. Ano yung mole? So, a mole represents or refers to a heap of individual particles, let's say ions, atoms, or molecules, or any given substance. Meaning to say, we are going to consider the Avogadro's number here. It contains the amount of matter equal to the number of atoms in exactly 12 grams of carbon-12. It is also referred to as the Avogadro's number of particles, which is equivalent to 6.02 times 10 to the 23. So ito yung gagamitin natin. Avogadro's number can have a unit of ions, atoms, or molecules. So kahit ano ditong sa tatlong ito, you are going to use the Avogadro's number depending on what is being asked in the problem. So usually, class, when you make use of the Avogadro's number, you will consider again dimensional analysis. So conversion factors derived from the mole concept used to separate many quantitative chemistry problems. Ito yung ginagamit sa quantitative chemistry actually, in determining the number of molecules, number of atoms, or number of ions. Okay, so let's have an example. Consider the following. 1 mole of any element contains 6.02 times 10 to the 23 atoms equivalent to its atomic mass. For example, 1 mole of copper is equivalent to 6.02 times 10 to the 23 atoms, which is also equivalent to 64 grams. Saan ko nakuha yung 64 grams? That is actually the atomic mass of copper. Okay? But actually, sa periodic table, it is something like 63.5. It was just rounded off for simpler calculations. But in our case, we should be dealing with 2 decimal places with regards to the atomic masses of elements that we take from the periodic table. Gagamit tayo ng up to 2 decimal places for more accurate answers. Okay? In a fraction form, the above relationships can be translated into conversion factors. Like 1 mole of copper is to 6.02 times 10 to the 23. Or 1 mole of copper is to 64 grams, or 6.02 times 10 to the 23 atoms per 1 mole of copper. Okay, for examples, when you are asked, how many atoms of zinc are there in 0.75 moles of zinc? So you start with the given 0.75 moles of zinc times, gagamitin mo na yung Avogadro's number. 6.02 times 10 to the 23 atoms per 1 mole of zinc. So you notice that mole zinc here will cancel out. So what remain now is atoms. What remains is atoms. Okay? Now, this is specifically for a single element. How about if we have a compound? Paano natin i-determine? Okay? So, when you have a covalent compound, okay, which contains 1 mole of any covalent compound contains, yes, Mr. Coronel.
Ma'am, question lang po. Yung 6.02 times 10 to the power of 23 molecules po ba? Ayun po ba yung Avogadro's numbers po?
Yeah, that is the Avogadro's number.
So, given po siya, ma'am, kasama po sa formula.
It's not formula actually. You make use of dimensional analysis. Okay? Dimensional analysis ang gagamitin nyo dito. Like for instance, you are going to determine the mass of a compound based on the number of molecules. Gagamit kayo ng molar mass. Gagamit kayo ng Avogadro's number. Okay? So 1 mole of any covalent compound contains 6.02 times 10 to the 23 molecules equivalent to its molecular mass. Pag compound, gagamit tayo ng molecular mass. Pag single element, gagamit tayo ng atomic mass. For example, 1 mole of water is equivalent to 6.02 times 10 to the 23 molecules, which is equivalent to 18 grams. Saan ko nakuha yung 18 grams? That is the molecular mass of water. 2 atoms for hydrogen times 1.01, that is the atomic mass. And the atomic mass of oxygen is 16. So 16 plus 2 is equal to 18 grams. Okay? 1 mole of water is 6.02 times 10 to the 23 molecules. 1 mole of water is actually 18 grams. Or 18 grams is to 1 mole of water. Okay? For example, ito yung mga natin, yung mga ratio, parang yung mga conversion factors na gagamitin natin in order to arrive at what is being asked for in the problem. For example, how many molecules are present in 12 grams of carbon monoxide? Okay? Carbon monoxide is a compound which consists of 1 atom of carbon and 1 atom of oxygen. So dito kayo mag-start. Start with 12 grams of carbon and then get the atomic molecular mass of carbon monoxide. We have 12 plus 16, that is 28 grams per mole. The unit of molecular mass is actually gram per mole. And then, magka-cancel out na dito yung grams CO. Okay? Ka-cancel out na yung grams CO. Then, multiply it now by the Avogadro's number, which is 6.02 times 10 to the 23 molecules per 1 mole of CO. Cancel out din yung mole of CO. So, maiiwan na lang is molecules. So, that is now 2.58 times 10 to the 23 molecules. Understood? Dimensional analysis. Now, kung let's say, grams of compound ang papahanap sa inyo, baliktarin nyo ito, magiging 28 gram per mole na sa numerator si grams para makuha nyo yung number of grams. Okay, got it? Now, if I may ask, how about if I ask you how many atoms are present in 12 grams of carbon monoxide? How many atoms are there in 12 grams of carbon monoxide? What are you going to do? Diba sabi ko, 6.02 times 10 to the 23, pwedeng ang unit niya is atoms, molecules, or ions. This time, ang unit niya is molecules. So, what are you going to do? Yes, Mr. Dupa.
18 pa rin po. 28 pa rin po ba, ma'am?
28 is the mass. Molecular mass. I'm asking how many atoms? How many atoms?
ma'am.
Ha?
Same process pa rin po.
Yes, of course. Now, molecules itong kinuha natin. How about if I ask you how many atoms are there in that compound? Remember, atoms are smaller than molecules, so dapat mas marami si atoms. Any idea?
Yung 6.02 ma'am, times 10 raised to 23 the times ma'am sa 2 para dumami siya.
Okay, so what should be the answer, Mr. Marquez?
Hindi ko po alam ma'am.
Hindi, i-calculate
Yes, ma'am.
calculate mo. Tama yung sagot mo. Pero hindi dapat doon lang i-multiply the whole of it.
Wait lang po ma'am.
Yeah, para may points ka. Mag-recite kayo para maka-earn kayo ng points. Okay, kung ano supposedly yung sagot?
Ang ginawa ko ma'am 6.02 times 10 raised to 23 times 2 ma'am ginawa ko. Ang lumabas po sa akin 1.204 times 10 raised to 24 po.
Eh, nasaan itong 12 grams CO at saka
Ay.
20? Kasama yan.
Wait lang ma'am.
Kasama lahat yan.
Wait lang ma'am. Pag hindi ko po nasagot ma'am, iba na lang po.
Hindi, i-calculate mo lang sa calculator. Para makita ko kung tama yung sinasabi mo na i-multiply mo ng 2.
Ano ma'am, di ko alam kung tama to ma'am kasi sinalpak ko lang ma'am yung ginawa ko eh. 4.04544 times 10 raised to 25 ma'am.
Bakit naging ganon? Okay.
Ano ma'am, ang ginawa ko lang po ma'am 12 yung ano lang ma'am, ito 12 grams ma'am, 28 grams. Pinagsama-sama ko lang po sa pagka-calculate ma'am.
Division ang 28. You have to divide by 28. Baka minultiply mo.
Minultiply ko ma'am. Sorry
And
ma'am.
then tignan mo over 28. So division ito. Okay, sige. Never mind. The same procedure that you're going to do. Yes, Mr. Coronel. Ano yan, Mr. Coronel?
Ma'am, napindot po. Sorry po.
Okay. So the same procedure that you're going to do is start with the given, begin with the given, 12 grams times 12 grams CO times 1 mole of CO, which is 28 grams. Tignan nyo kung saan pwedeng mag-cancel out yung mga units. Kung nasa taas yung gram, dapat nasa baba yung gram. This is actually the molecular mass of CO, 28 gram per mole. Okay? Then multiply it by the Avogadro's number. But this time, hindi na molecules ang unit mo. Atoms na. Okay? Atoms na. Atoms per 1 mole of CO. So you will get the same. 2.58 times 10 to the 23 atoms. But how many atoms are present in CO? How many atoms actually here? 1 atom of carbon and 1 atom of oxygen. Tama?
Yes po.
So you have to multiply by 2. Okay? Kasi itong 2.58 times 10 to the 23 atoms, that is for a single atom only. Dalawa sila, oh. So you have to multiply by 2. Got it? Hindi na molecules ang unit, kundi atoms. But you have to multiply this by 2 because there are two atoms in carbon monoxide. You got it?
Ma'am, yung ano lang po, ma'am, yung pinaka-answer lang po ng molecules, ayun lang po ita times 2, ma'am.
Yeah, pwede rin dito mo ilagay. Pwede din dito ilagay yung times 2.
Okay po, ma'am.
Ito lang yung sagot.
Okay po.
So it will be 5.16 times 10 to the 23 atoms of CO. Yes, Mr. Romano. Isang atom ka mo? Depende sa compound ka mo, hindi element. Kaya hindi ko maintindihan mo. Depende sa compound. Kung ilang atoms. Now, kapag ginawa ko itong carbon dioxide, CO2, magiging 3 atoms na siya. 3 ang imumultiply mo dito. Pwedeng dito mo na ilagay yung multiplication mo times 3, times 2, depende kung ilang atoms present. Okay? Okay, kasama ito sa midterm exam nyo. So, dapat intindihin nyo ito. May assignment din kayo na ganito. Ipopost ko yung assignment sa sa BS. Para makapag-practice kayo ng pagsusolve. Okay? Now, let's proceed now to molecular mass, molar mass, and formula mass. So, what is molecular mass or molar mass, abbreviated as MM, uppercase? Refers to the mass of a molecular compound like CO2, CO, H2O, while formula mass refers to the mass of ionic compound like sodium chloride, aluminum fluoride, or calcium chloride. So, yung molecular mass or molar mass is also applicable to ionic compounds. Okay? We usually make use of molar mass for all compounds, whether it is ionic or covalent. Mas tayo, at is tayo sa paggamit ng molar mass. Formula mass kasi exclusive for ionic compounds. Okay? Now, molecular mass or formula mass is determined by taking the sum of atomic masses of all the atoms in a molecular formula unit multiplied by the number of atoms present in the chemical formula. Like water. How do you get the molecular mass of water? There are 2 atoms of hydrogen, so multiply it by the atomic mass of hydrogen. And then 1 atom of oxygen is 16. 1 times 16 is 16. And then add. That is now the molecular mass. 18 grams per mole. So molecular mass or formula mass is determined by taking the sum of atomic masses of all atoms in a molecular formula unit multiplied by the number of atoms present in the chemical formula. The molecular or formula mass is expressed in atomic mass unit or in grams per mole. But we usually make use of gram per mole for the unit of molecular mass. Why? Kasi naka-quantify natin eh. Dito sa atomic mass, there is no specific unit. Atomic mass lang siya. Pero dito, we can specify na naka-gram siya. Let's say for instance, determine the mass of this compound. So gagamit ka ngayon ng molecular mass. And after making use of the formula, N is equal to M over MM, makukuha mo na yung mass ng compound. That is using the unit grams. Okay? Take note, in taking the number of mole, sulat nyo sa notes nyo, N is equal to M over MM. N stands for mole, M is for the mass, and MM is 2 gram per mole. Okay?
Ma'am, pwede pong pa-repeat po.
N, okay, N, all right, equals, small letter N yon. N equals M over MM. Okay? N is the number of mole. Number of moles. Okay? And M is the mass. And MM is the molecular mass. Molar mass. Okay? Gagamitin nyo yan. Halimbawa, I ask you, what is the mass of the compound? So, M is equal to N times MM. Tama? Got it? Cross multiply and M is equal to N times MM. So, you need the molecular mass. Okay? Next. I-note down nyo na yung formula. Now, the first calculation, second pala, is how are you going to compute for the percent composition of a certain compound. Then followed by how to determine the empirical or molecular formula of a compound. Okay, first percent composition muna tayo. All samples of a pure compound contain the same relative amounts of elements by mass, and the proportion of each element present in a compound can be used to identify the compound. The commonly used proportion is the percent composition or percent by mass, which is mathematically expressed as percent composition is equal to atomic mass times number of atoms over molar mass of the compound times 100. Palagi niyong i-multiply ng 100. Okay? The percentage of each element in a compound by mass can be determined from the formula of the compound or the experimental mass analysis of the compound. Since we do not have actually actual experimental mass analysis in the laboratory, we will just be relying on the formula of the compound to get the percent composition. Okay, so percentage composition is equal to part over whole times 100%. Example natin. Determine the percent composition from the formula C2H5OH. So C2H5OH is actually ethyl alcohol. How many percent of carbon, how many percent of hydrogen, and how many percent of oxygen are in this compound? Okay, so start tayo. How many atoms of carbon or how many moles of carbon? 2, di ba? So 2 times the atomic mass of carbon, which is 12.01. Again, 2 decimal places ang kukunin nyo sa sa periodic table. So it will be equal to 1224.02. For hydrogen, how many hydrogens do you have? 5 plus 1, 6. So 6 times 1.008. Actually, pwede nyo nang gamitin ang atomic mass ng hydrogen as 1.01. You can round it off to 1.01. For the purpose of accuracy, kaya kinuha dito yung 3 decimal places. And you got 6.048 grams. Yes, Mr. Herrera?
Pero po pag activity po, ma'am, okay lang po na 1.01 po.
Yeah, 1.01.
Okay po, thank you.
Okay? So, after adding this is now the molecular mass of the compound. The unit now is 46.02 grams per mole. Okay? 46.07 grams per mole na siya.
Ma'am, ba't yung 1 mole, ma'am? 16.00.
That is gram per mole. Atomic mass ito ng ng oxygen. Atomic mass of oxygen is 1 gram per mole. So 1 mole of oxygen is equal to 16 grams. You got it? You got it? 1 mole of oxygen is to 16 grams. Parang yung prinisin kanina. Understood? Okay. Now, saan natin gagamitin itong molecular mass? The total of this. Okay? Now, get the percentage of each element now. Divide the mass of each element by the molar mass of the compound and multiply by 100%. So, for carbon, you have 24.02 grams, diba? 24 kanina. Ayan. Divide by the molecular mass, which is 46.07. And then multiply by 100. So, you got 52.14%. The same is true for hydrogen and oxygen. Now, the total should be 100. There are times that you will not get 100% due to rounding off. It depends upon how you rounded off your atomic masses from your periodic table. Kaya nga sabi ko up to 2 decimal para exact. Okay? So, after this, we will be taking up now how to determine the empirical formula of a compound. So, it is the simplest whole number ratio of atoms in a molecule. It can be determined from percent composition or combining masses. So, if you have a certain amount of the compound, get the percentage and then multiply it by 100 to make, in order for you to get the mass of element A. The same thing that you will do for element B, and then get the ratio between the number of mole of A and the number of mole of B. How do you get the number of mole? N is equal to mass over molecular mass. Then what are you going to do next? Okay, let's have an example. Determine the empirical formula of acetic anhydride if its percent composition is 47% carbon, 47% oxygen, and 6% hydrogen. So in here, you can just directly get 0.47 times 100. That is now the mass of carbon. 0.47 oxygen. 0.47 oxygen times 100. You have 47 grams oxygen. The same is true for hydrogen. After that, okay, divide the number of mole by its atomic mass. Okay? Divide the mass over the atomic mass. So that you will get the number of mole, which is 3.9. The same is true for hydrogen and oxygen. Now, these quotients shall be divided by the smallest quotient. Alin dito yung smallest? Oxygen, di ba? So, yun yung i-divide natin dito. Common divisor. After dividing it with the least, pinakamababang number of mole, this is now the quotient. And we have a decimal. This is supposedly the subscript of your empirical formula. But there is a decimal. There is no such thing as a decimal subscript. So, anong gagawin natin dito sa may decimal? If any of the ratios is not a whole number, multiply all the ratios by a factor to make it a whole number. If the ratio is 0.5, okay, then multiply it by 2 para maging whole number. If the ratio is 0.33 or 0.67, then multiply by 3. If the ratio is 0.25 or 0.75, then multiply it by 4. So, tandaan nyo to class, ilagay nyo na sa notes nyo kasi talagang magagamit nyo ito. Yes, Mr. Herrera.
Ma'am, given po ba talaga siya?
Yung?
Ito po, yung mga point, then
Yung
multiply by 3.
Yeah. Di ba nakaproduce tayo ng 1.3? Ito ayan. So how do you make this as a whole number? So ito na, constant ang mga ito, by 2. By 2 pag 0.5, by 3 pag 0.33, by 4 pag 0.25 or 0.75. Okay. You will realize this as soon as we have our other examples.
Paano mo
Yes.
pag ano? Pagka may point pa rin yung lumabas, ma'am, sa ano,
Sa?
ratio, ma'am. Di ba, ano, yung 1.3, ma'am, times sa ano.
You round it off. Pwede nang i-round off. Okay?
Okay po, ma'am.
So, 1.3 times 3 is 3.9. Round off to 4 na. 2 times 3 is 6. And 1 times 3 is 3. Okay, so ito na yung subscripts ng formula mo. Okay? So, paano ba magsulat ng formula? Start with the most metallic element, which is carbon, followed by hydrogen, followed by oxygen. Okay? So, 4 ang subscript ni carbon, 6 kay hydrogen, 3 kay oxygen. So, this is now your empirical formula. Okay? But, somehow, class, I understand that yung steps dyan sa PowerPoint natin is medyo makalat. You notice, medyo magulo, di ba?
Sakto lang, ma'am.
Sakto lang. So, medyo lang. Kaya I devised a way, it's not formulated actually. Nag-set ako I devised 3 steps or rules for you to follow para mas madaling mag-determine ng empirical formula. Okay, then decide which is more convenient for you to use. Papakita ko sa inyo ha, stop muna to. Wala yung assignment nyo. Calculating the empirical. Okay, so this is now calculating the empirical formula of a compound. I have here the steps. Divide the percentage of each element in the compound by the atomic mass of that element. Compare the quotient. So yung quotient dito that I'm referring to is the number of mole. So compare the quotient obtained by dividing each quotient by the smallest quotient. This establishes the ratio between the elements of the compound. Okay, so para maintindihan nyo, let's have an example. Actually, we have solved this already in my other classes. So as we were discussing, we are solving. So in this time, I already saved it para pag na-discuss natin, mas mabilis na. I need not type one by one anymore. So naka-ready na siya. So for this example, okay, an analysis of a compound shows it to contain 26.27% sulfur, 20% magnesium, and 53.73% oxygen. What is the empirical formula? So EF means empirical formula. So how do you start writing a formula? Start with the most positive or the most metallic. So what particular element is considered to be the most metallic? Magnesium, di ba? Followed by sulfur and followed by oxygen. So we start with oxygen first. Oxygen is 20%. So according to the rule, according to the steps, determine the percentage and then divide the element by the atomic mass of that element. Okay, so 20% divided by the atomic mass of magnesium, which is 24.3. Kinuha natin yung average atomic mass ng kanyang isotopes. Actually, it is 24.305. Pero we only get 24.3 following the rule in rounding off. So, pag dinivide mo yan, you will get 0.823. Dito naman sa quotient, I advise you to get up to 3 decimal places para mas accurate yung sagot nyo. Sulfur also, divide it by its atomic mass, which is 32.06. You got 0.189. And, yes, Mr. Coronel?
Ma'am, tanong lang po, yung Mg po ba yung sulfur po, pati oxygen, yung 24, 32, 16 po doon, ayun po ba yung mass nila?
Yes, ito yung atomic mass nila from the periodic table. Ayan, no? Divide the percentage of each element in the compound by the atomic mass of that element.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay? Ganon din yung oxygen ang gagawin nyo. Divide the percentage by the atomic mass. Okay, so nakakuha tayo ng 3.358. So which is the smallest quotient dito? Ano yung pinakamababa? 0.819, di ba? Yun ang i-divide nyo. Common sa lahat. I-divide nyo lahat. Okay, the smallest quotient. Ayan, no? Compare the quotient obtained by dividing each quotient by the smallest quotient para ma-establish mo yung ratio between the elements. Yung ratio between the elements is actually the subscripts. Okay. When we divide, we produce 1.005. Pwede nang i-round up sa 1. Of course, this is equivalent to 1 when you divide it. And then, this one, 3.358 divided by 0.819 is equal to 4.1. Pwede mo nang i-round off yung 4.1 into 4. Therefore, the subscript of magnesium is 1, sulfur 1, oxygen is 4. This is now magnesium sulfate. Neglect the 1 as subscript. Huwag mo nang isulat yung 1. Understood na 1 na pag walang subscript. So it is magnesium sulfate. And most ionic compounds, kung ano yung empirical formula nila, yun na rin ang molecular formula nila or what we call the actual formula. O, naintindihan? Alin ang mas mabilis, mas madali?
Ayan po.
Ayan, ma'am.
Ang galing nga, ma'am eh.
Okay, this is simpler. You need not go around the bush. Diretso na siya.
Ma'am, may ask ko lang po. Paano ko pag yung yung ratios naging integers? Okay na po 'yon?
Oh, maging instead of integers, we need to say whole number. Gagawin mo siyang whole number.
Okay. Kailangan ba lang Say, ma'am, salamat.
Yun di ba yung times 5, times 2, times 3, and times 4? Sa discussion natin dun sa PPT, di ba? Yung 1.3. 2, 3, 4. Tandaan nyo yung tatlong numbers na yon. Tandaan nyo rin kung anong decimal meron. Okay, yun yung next example natin.
Salamat po, ma'am.
Okay, yan. Number 2 example, gagamit tayo ng factor na yon. Upon analysis, I should say, 102 grams of aluminum oxide are found to contain 54 grams of aluminum. Determine the EF, empirical formula. Ngayon, mass naman ang given. Grams. Okay? So, 54 grams of aluminum. Tapos, yung compound, aluminum oxide, has a mass of 102 grams. Paano mo kukunin yung mass ng oxygen? Subtract mo. 102 minus 54 equals 48 grams. Okay? Now, get the percent composition. Percent of aluminum and percent of oxygen. Kasi yun yung nasa step 1 natin. Percent ang i-divide. Okay? So, get the percentage composition. 54 grams divided by 102 times 100 is 52.94%. 48 grams divided by 102 times 100 is 47.06%. You add this, dapat 100%. Okay? Pag nakuha nyo 99.99, 99.98, it's okay. Pero pag nakuha nyo 99.97, check your decimal places. Baka meron kang rounding off na you did not follow the steps, the rules in rounding off. Okay? Then, divide the percentage by the atomic mass of aluminum, which is 26.98. We got 1.962. Divide also the percentage of oxygen by its atomic mass, we got 2.941. Ano ang list which has the smallest quotient? 1.962. That is for aluminum. So yun common divisor natin. Then we produce 1 and 1.499 for oxygen. 1.499 is actually 1.5. Ano yung factor na imumultiply mo para maging integer or whole number? 2. Okay? So, pag minultiply mo ito ng 2, imultiply mo din yung isa ng 2. So, it will be 1.5 times 2 equals 3. 1 times 2 equals 2. Ito na yung subscript ng aluminum. 2. And then, 3 naman kay oxygen. Aluminum oxide. I-check mo kung tama yung formula mo. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Negative 2 si oxygen. 2 times 3, kasi plus 3 si aluminum, yung oxidation number niya. 6 minus 6 equals 0. Tama yung formula mo. Okay? Now, this is also the molecular formula. As I've told you, most ionic compounds has the same molecular formula and empirical formula. Now, halimbawa, nakalimutan mo yung multiplier. Ano na ba i-multiply? 2 ba, 3 ba, or 4? So, pwede nyong gawin ito. Take the ratio between aluminum and oxygen. Aluminum is 1, oxygen is 1.5. What is 1.5 in mixed number?
Three over 2.
Mix muna tayo.
1 and 1 half po.
1 and 1 half. In fractional form, it is simple mathematics. It is
3 over 2.
3 halves. Okay? 3 halves. So, ilalagay mo rin yun, i-ratio mo siya. Aluminum is to 1 as oxygen is to 3 halves. How do you divide fractions? 1 over 3 halves.
Kunin yung reciprocal, ma'am.
Okay, get the reciprocal of your denominator. And pag kinuha mo na yung reciprocal, it will become, the numerator becomes the denominator and vice versa. So, 2/3. So, aluminum now is to 2, oxygen is to 3. Got it?
Yes.
This is also applicable for decimal na mayroong 0.25. Kasi yung 0.25 is 1/4, di ba? So, you can also apply this method. Kung nakalimutan mo yung multiplier mo. Okay? Now, before we proceed with the determining of molecular formula, dito sa example number 3, balik muna tayo sa PowerPoint natin. Naintindihan nyo?
Ma'am,
Yes.
yung tatlong po yun, ma'am. Tatlong sample na yun, ma'am. I-post niyo po ba sa BS yun?
Hindi, papa-screenshot ko sa inyo mamaya.
Okay.
Okay. So, proceed tayo sa molecular mass naman. Molecular formula. So, molecular formula is a multiple of the empirical formula. Before you will be able to determine the molecular formula, you should determine first the empirical. Usually, this is true for covalent compounds. To determine the molecular formula, you need to know the empirical formula and the molar mass of the compound. Pag hindi mo alam yung molar mass, you will never ever be able to determine the molecular formula of a molecular compound or covalent compound. Okay? Example. Determine the molecular formula of benzopyrene. If it has a molar mass of 252 gram per mole and an empirical formula of C5H3, assuming na nakuha na natin yung empirical formula na C5H3. Okay, benzopyrene class is a very toxic compound. This is derived from tobacco smoke, yung usok ng sigarilyo, yung usok ng sasakyan, also from grilled foods. Pag mahilig kayo sa inihaw, di ba yung inihaw na barbecue may mga itim-itim, yung mga burnt part, yung mga nasunog, that contains benzopyrene. It is a carcinogen. This compound is a carcinogen. It is, when you say carcinogen, cancer-promoting compound. So later on, pag nagsisigarilyo ka ngayon, hanggang tumanda ka, you might be having or developing lung cancer already because this is a cancer-promoting substance. If you will be able to see the structure of this, very complicated ang structure niya. You have five benzene rings sa kanyang structure. And benzene, of course, benzene as the primary form of benzopyrene is very toxic. Okay, just for your info. So after determining the empirical formula, get now the molar mass of your empirical formula. Ano ang molar mass nito? So just like what you are doing with compounds, kasi ito ay empirical pa lang, get the number of carbon, multiply it by the atomic mass, by its atomic mass, and then same is true for hydrogen, 3 times 1.01. So you will get 63.07 grams per mole. Anong gagawin mo dito ngayon sa molecular mass na empirical formula? Divide the given molar mass of the compound by the molar mass of the empirical formula. Round off to the nearest whole number. Okay? So 252 divided by 63.07 is 4. Anong gagawin mo dito sa 4? I-multiply mo ngayon doon sa subscript ng empirical formula. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 3 is 12. So the molecular formula of benzopyrene is C20H12. Got it? Okay? Inintindihan?
Noted po, ma'am.
Okay. Punta ulit tayo doon sa example natin para mas maintindihan nyo. Ito. Okay. The molecular mass of naphthalene is 128 gram per mole. It contains 93.75% carbon and 6.25% hydrogen. What is the MF or molecular formula? So before you can get the molecular formula, before you can determine, I should say, determine mo muna yung empirical. Okay? So yung steps natin, divide the percentage by the atomic mass for carbon and hydrogen. So we get 7.806. 6.188. Divide by the smallest quotient, which is 6.88. After dividing, we have 1.261 and 1. Now we have a decimal again here. So what do you think is the best coefficient na gagamitin natin dyan? 4, di ba? Kasi yung 0.25 is close to 0.26. So pwede nang gamitin yung 4. So you will get 5.044. You also multiply 4 for hydrogen. So that the empirical formula now is C5H4. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Now, yung C5H4 na yon, para diretso yung calculation nyo, ganito yung gagawin nyo. Get the molecular mass of this. So, 5 times 12.014 carbon plus 4 times 1.014 hydrogen. Let X be the multiplier. Times X equals 128 gram per mole. That is actually the molecular mass of naphthalene. So the sum of the molecular mass of the empirical formula is 64.09. X equals 128. Divide 1.997 equals 2. Therefore, your multiplier is 2. Multiply it by the subscript of your empirical formula, C10, okay? 2 times 4 is 8. C10H8 is the molecular formula of naphthalene. Got it? Naintindihan? Yes, Mr. Doringo.
Ma'am, saan nakuha yung 64.09?
Ito yung molecular mass ng ng C5H4.
Okay po.
Pwede i-divide mo na kaagad, basta nakuha mo yung molecular mass, 28 divided by this already. Ginanito ko lang para yung calculation nyo is continuous.
Okay po, ma'am. Salamat po.
Distributive property of multiplication para maging continuous. Okay? Pwede namang kunin nyo na lang mismo dito, then divide 128 by the molecular mass, diretso. Or pwede din ganito para mas magandang tignan yung solution nyo. Okay? Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Naintindihan? Systematic. More systematic, di ba?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes po, ma'am.
Next. Example. At STP. STP means standard temperature and pressure. 1 liter of a gas weighs 1.16 grams. Analysis records that the gas contains 92.31% carbon and 7.69% hydrogen. Determine the molecular formula. So, walang data ng molecular mass. Diba? Wala. Sabi ko sa inyo, dapat given. Ang meron lang is yung percentage para makompute natin or ma-determine natin yung empirical formula. So, dito natin kukunin sa data na to yung molecular mass. Given naman kasi yung mass ng gas 1.16, tapos given yung volume ng gas, so kukunin natin yung mass by making use of the mass density formula. Okay? Pag sinabing STP class, yung pressure is normal. Parang tayo, di ba? At sea level kasi tayo, nasa sea level tayo. Pag umakyat ka at higher elevation, nag-change yung pressure. Diba? Ang pressure natin ngayon is 1 atmosphere, normal. Wala tayong nararamdaman. But if you go up Baguio, or you go up Tagaytay, or sumakay ka sa plane, the pressure changes. Nararamdaman mo yun, diba? Yung tenga mo parang may pumuputok-putok. So what you are going to do, you have to choose something para ma-release yung pressure. You have to choose something. Did you experience already riding or going to a higher elevation?
Pagpaakyat ng Baguio, ma'am.
No, pagpaakyat, di ba? Kasi nagbabago na yung elevation, tumataas. Above sea level na yung Baguio. Mataas na kasi. Tayo, above sea level tayo, nasa sea level tayo. Kapantay natin yung dagat. So, atmospheric yung pressure, normal. So, yun ang ibig sabihin ng STP. Now, at STP class, the volume of a gas is equal to 22.4 liters per mole. Palagi. Constant. You call it MGV. 22.4 liters per mole. Okay? Gagamitin natin ngayon data to get the mass density. Mass density is equal to mass over volume, 1.16 gram per liter. So, yun yung mass density. From the mass density, makukuha natin yung mass. Yung mass na yun, that is the molecular mass. So, cross-multiply, mass is equal to mass density times mgv, the volume. So, 1.16 times 22.4 equals 25.984, rounded off to 26 grams per mole. Ito na yung molecular mass mo. Okay? Tapusin lang natin ito bago tayo mag-break, ha? Bago tayo mag-lunch. Break tayo ng 15 minutes later. Okay. So, determine na natin yung empirical formula. 92.31% divided by the atomic mass, we get 7.686. The same is true for hydrogen. We got 7.614. Divide by the least quotient, which is 6.14. We both got 1. Okay, 1.009 can be rounded off to 1. Therefore, the empirical formula is CH. I-determine mo na ngayon yung formula mass, the molecular mass of your empirical formula. So, 12 plus 1 is 13. 26 divided by 13 is 2. Or pwede mong gawin din ito. Okay? Therefore, the molecular formula now is 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1 for hydrogen is 2. So, we have C2H2. This is now acetylene gas. C2H2 is acetylene gas, yung ginagamit sa pang-welding, sa iron works. Okay, question? Tito? Naintindihan nyo?
Konti.
Hindi dapat
Medyo confusing pa po yung sa first part po.
yung dito sa given.
Opo. Tsaka po yung STP po, tsaka yung mass density po.
Aha. Kasi doon mo kukunin yung molecular mass mo. Given kasi yung mass ng gas, given yung volume. So pag ganito, ang papasok sa isipan nyo is mass density, mass over volume. Pag given naman yung yung volume already, which is 22.4 liters, constant ito. Basta pag sinabing STP, itong papasok sa isip nyo. Lahat ng gas, constant ang volume. Okay? So, cross-multiply, makukuha nyo na yung mass. Yung mass density given. Yung volume given. Mass is the unknown. Okay? Ayun. Clear? Clear ba?
Opo.
Sige, later na tayo mag-screenshots. Let's have a break first. See you in 15 minutes, class. Bye-bye. See you later. Your assignment to be submitted. Gusto mo ngayon na?
Hindi ma'am, nagtatanong na po ma'am.
Okay. This is not group work anymore. Individual na to. Actually, this is actually a problem set, no? But ginawa ko na lang na assignment ang title niya. Okay, I am giving it to you now para you can start doing this during your free time and then submit. Huwag nyo na namang antayin dumating sa due date. If you can do it now, do it. And submit. Okay. Kikita nyo ba? Can you see it?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. So sa number 1, calculate the molar mass of each of the following. Letter A, rotenone, C23H22O6. This is an active component in many insecticides. So as we had earlier, you have to multiply the number of atoms times their atomic masses, then add. The sum shall be the molecular mass. The same is true for ascorbic acid and chlorophyll. Tingnan nyo yung chlorophyll, no? Naisingit dito magnesium and 4 atoms of nitrogen. So, hayaan nyo na lang na ganyan yung arrangement ng formula niya. Okay? Next, arrange the following in order of increasing mass. For letter A, that is 4 times 10 to the 23 molecules of C4H10. This is butane gas. C4H10 is butane gas. And then 7 times 10 to the 23 molecules of CO. So what you're going to do here is make use of the molecular mass. Okay, molecular mass. Then Avogadro's number. Yung molecular mass, doon nyo kukunin yung unit na gram. Kasi ang tinatanong dito is gram. So you are going to make use of N equals M over MM, where N is the number of moles, M is the mass, and MM is the molar mass. Remember that pag gumamit kayo ng ng Avogadro's number, 6.02 times 10 to the 23 molecules per mole. Okay? So, magka-cancel out yung mga molecules na given dito, tapos yung mole na unit doon manggagaling dito sa formula na ito, doon sa molar mass. Okay? Kasi gram per mole ang unit ng molar mass. Dimensional analysis. Even for letter C, 2 moles of B2H6, so pwede nyong gamitin ito. And then, sa molecules naman, gagamit ulit kayo ng Avogadro's number. So, A, B, and D, gagamit kayo ng Avogadro's number. Okay? Question? Clear ba? Next, an analysis of nicotine, an addictive compound found in tobacco leaves, shows that it is 74% carbon, 8.65% hydrogen, and 17.35% nitrogen. If the molecular mass of nicotine is 162 gram per mole, what are the EF and MF of nicotine? Okay? Okay na? Naintindihan kung anong gagawin? Hello?
Yes po, ma'am.
Yes po.
Walang question?
Ma'am?
Ma'am,
doon po sa may mga previous example, ma'am. Pwede, may tanong lang po ako kasi yung 128, ma'am, saan po nakuha yun, ma'am?
128 is the molar mass of naphthalene. Naphthalene yun,
Yung
Problem.
sa, ma'am, yung previous example po?
Oo, 128. Di ba given sa problem? Basahin mo yung problem.
Wait po.
Okay, wala nang tanong dito. Tanggalin ko na. Okay na? Nakita mo na, Mr. Domingo? Yung 128.
Opo, ma'am. Sorry po, di ko napansin yung 128 sa given. Sorry po, ma'am.
Basahin palagi yung problem. Okay, so okay na to. Pwede ko nang tanggalin. Kasi bibigyan ko kayo ng problem for recitation. Tignan ko lang kung naintindihan nyo yung previous lesson. Okay. Okay, do number 5. The first 3 who can give me the correct answer shall have additional points. Determine the EF and EF from the given composition. The molecular mass is 90 grams per mole. Okay, start now. Naka-present ba?
Ma'am, di ko po makita yung 4.
Ha? Hindi, yung 5. Yung 5, pinapagawa ko.
5 lang po, ma'am.
Tatapos na natin yung 4. Example natin, itong number 5 ang gawin
Ay,
nyo.
okay po. Okay po, ma'am. Iba pa po yung sa assignment, ma'am, no?
Iba.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Iba yung assignment. Ito yung pang recitation natin to. Tignan ko lang kung naintindihan nyo yung natin, lesson. So determine the EF and E and MF from the given composition. Okay? First 3. Yes, Mr. Magnaye? Dan?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. Another 2. Mamaya na lang natin tingnan yung solution mo. Another 2. Kasi 3 yung ano, di ba?
Ma'am, saan po ipapasa?
Yung
Yan po.
recitation lang to. Recitation the first 3. Tapos mo na ba?
Di pa po, ma'am.
Okay, so second is Mr. Herrera. Recitation lang ito. The first 3 who can solve it and give the correct answer will be given additional points. Isa pa, dalawa na yung nakapag-raise ng hands. Sino yun? Sino yun? Sino yung nag-message?
Jose po ako po.
Jose, bakit?
Wala po internet ng mobile lang po.
Na-miss mo na yung lesson. Anyway, na-post naman sa GC. Mr. Katunina?
Tawag niyo po ba ako, ma'am?
Hindi, akala ko ikaw yung nag-comment.
Hindi po, bumalik lang. Bumalik lang po ako kasi nawala po sa glit yung net.
Borbor, wala. Carry on, nakahabol ka ba? Andyan siya kanina, no? Carry on. Hello? Absent ba siya?
Sumagot siya, ma'am, kanina, ma'am.
Kaya nga eh.
Ma'am, naglalag lang po siya, ma'am.
Dito po, ma'am.
Si Coronel din, ano?
Ma'am, andito po.
Petersen? Wala. Pineda? Okay, Mr. Villapando, nakatapos ka na rin?
Yes po, ma'am.
O, saglit lang. Pineda? Pineda, absent. Sale?
Ma'am?
Nakahabol ka?
Yes po, ma'am.
Late. Nagpakan? Wala na naman. Gawin nyo na lang during your free time yung dalawang simulation, ha? Okay, may I call on Miss Magnaye? Miss Magnaye?
Yes po.
Pakita ng solution mo. Tipin kita.
Wait lang po, tama po ba si...
Tingnan, wag mo munang sabihin, titignan ko na.
Teka po.
Tipin kita.
Di ba? Ay, wait po.
Blurry, hindi ko makita, blurred.
Ayan po. Or parang mirror po ba ako?
Hindi naman, kaya lang nagbo-blurred.
Ayan po, easy.
Asan yung mo?
Ito po yung final answer ko nasa gilid.
Okay. Sige, okay na. Baba mo na.
Ipakita ko pa yung further solution po.
Hindi na, okay na. Nakita ko na.
Okay po.
Okay, patingin lang sa'yo, Mr. Herrera. Mr. Herrera. Saglit.
Ito po yung for the empirical formula.
Asan yung empirical mo?
Ito po.
Taas mo konti, hindi ko makita. Taas mo. Asan yung empirical? Empirical na saan?
Ito po ma'am, ayun po na taas po yan. Naka-mirror lang po.
Molecular lang yung nakikita ko eh. Yan, sa baba. Bakit? Wait lang. C3H3?
Opo, mali po ata ma'am.
Ito, ano itong nasa taas?
Saan po dito ma'am?
Yung taas. Ano yun? C2H2O4. Ano yun?
Yung sa po ma'am?
Empirical.
Yung sa first step po.
Ay, mali yung empirical mo. Mali din yung molecular. Okay?
Sige pa ma'am.
Sige. Si Mr. Villapando, patingin. Tanggalin mo yung hands mo para mapin kita. Tanggalin mo yung raised hands mo para mapin kita.
Ma'am, yan lang yung wala na yung ibang given, ma'am.
Teka, saglit. Hindi ko mapin.
Medyo magulo po, ma'am.
Hindi ko maipin. Ano yung empirical mo? Ayan.
Ano, ma'am?
Asan yung molecular mo?
Yung X.
Tapos, asan yung molecular mo?
Yun din lang eh. Ito po.
Bakit pareho yung empirical at saka molecular?
Hindi ko rin po alam, ma'am eh.
I-multiply mo yung multiplier na 2, yung factor na 2, i-multiply mo sa subscript ng iyong empirical. You got the empirical. Tapos pinakita mo sa akin na molecular, empirical pa rin. Do you get what I mean?
Ma'am, yung lumabas kasi ma'am na multiplier sa akin ma'am is 1 pa rin po ma'am.
Yung multiplier mo?
Opo ma'am.
That's impossible. Dapat 2. Dapat 2, Mr. Villapando. So, hindi kompleto yung points mo, ha? Si Miss Magnayan lang nakakuha ng complete solution. Okay, how about the others? Were you able to get the answer? Sino nakakuha? Sige, I'll give another chance. Sa isa pa. Sino ang nakakuha ng AF? Empirical is CHO2. Tapos, ang molecular niya is C2H2O4. Sino nakakuha nun? Mr. Doringo, patingin. Ay, si Mr. Villapando naman itong pinipin ko. Wait lang, di ko maipin. Nangyari. Ayun. Ay, sus, nawala na naman. Wait lang, ha. Karoon ng problem sa... Oh, rotate mo. Ba't ang dilim? Ang dilim naman ng bahay mo, Mr. Doringo. Patingin. Oh, harap.
Resign na mo na.
Harap mo sa...
Ayan po.
Asan yung empirical mo?
Ayan po, mamo. Ito po yung sagot ko.
Saan yung empirical mo? Empirical muna.
Ayan po. Ayan yung nasa taas, ma'am. Ito po.
EF. EF. Hindi ko makita.
Ayan po yung sagot ko, ma'am.
Oh, yeah, yung EF. MF yung pinapakita mo eh.
Ay, ito ba yan?
EF. EF. Empirical. Asan yung EF?
Ito, ma'am, yung nasa taas po, yung CHO. Yan po.
C2H. C2 yun eh.
Oh.
The empirical formula is CHO2.
Okay po.
The molecular formula is C2H2O4. Okay?
Opo, sorry po, ma'am. Alam ko si Taho.
So, walang nakakuha. Yung isa pa. Yung isa pa.
Ma'am, yung empirical ko po ay C2H2O4 po.
C2H2O4?
Yes po, ayun po yung nakuha ko po sa empirical.
Hindi yun empirical. Molecular yun.
Molecular po ba yun? Okay po.
The empirical is CHO2.
Okay po.
Okay. Bakit parang nahirapan kayo dito? Pareho lang naman yung procedure na gagawin ninyo.
Na-pressure po.
Na-pressure ba?
Paunahan po eh.
Paunahan. Na-pressure tuloy. Okay. Sige. Gawin nyo na lang ulit yan, ha? Practice nyo. The answer should be CHO2, empirical. Molecular, C2H2O4, molecular. O, ito, next. Arrange the following compounds in order of increasing percent phosphorus. O, another 3. Arrange the following compounds in order of increasing phosphorus. So, kukunin nyo yung percent phosphorus dito, tapos dito rin sa B, C, and D. So, what you're going to do is get first the molar mass of the compound, then get the atomic mass of the compound, of the element, divided by the molar mass of the compound times 100. Tapos, i-arrange nyo according to increasing, meaning from the lowest to the highest. So, ang sagot nyo dito should be letters. Will it be A, B, C, D? Will it be D, C, A, B? Or B, D, A, C? Whatever. Okay, go. Start.
Ma'am, ano ulit gagawin dyan, ma'am?
Arrange the following compounds in order of increasing percent phosphorus.
Ang question po, paano po kukunin yung increasing pong percentage po? Anong formula po yun?
Percent composition. Di ba yung ginawa natin kanina? Percent composition. Get the molar mass. Then divide the amount, the mass of phosphorus, the atomic mass of phosphorus divided by the total. Percent composition.
Ma'am, ito po ba yung N equals M divided by MM?
No. Percent composition. Mass of the element, atomic mass of the element over the molecular mass times 100. Multiply it by how many atoms? Kung apat yung phosphorus, 4 times the atomic mass of phosphorus divided by the molecular mass of the compound. Yung sa assignment nyo, that is increasing mass. Dito, increasing percent phosphorus. Increasing percent composition. Okay, anyone?
Oh, wait lang po.
Ma'am, bali percentage lang po yung isasagot po, no?
Yes. Determine the percentage of phosphorus in A, B, C, and D, and then arrange. Letters na ang gawin nyo. Is it A? Is it letter B? Ang mauuna, pinakamababa. And then going up.